this week, we will look at lesson 10.5, which is about angle relationships in circles. I would like to emphasize that although the lessons in this folder are self-paced, they must be done within the week of May 4th through 8th. Also, they must be done in a sequential order, because sometimes I get messages that they don't make sense, the videos don't play. So please make sure that you follow the order in which they appear in the materials section. Because if you look into the gradebook, the order in the gradebook may be different from the order in the materials. So right now they are still unpublished because I'm still in the process of taking the screencast. So once I am done, I will make this folder published. And just like what I mentioned, make sure that you follow in which they appear in the folder section. So the first one that you will do in this folder is a cumulative review. You will be given 5 attempts to try the answers. And it's a quick review of some of the lessons that we did in the past 2 weeks about angles and segments formed inside circles. At the end of all the screencasts and writing down your notes, you will be asked to upload a copy for grading. And I would like to suggest that you use a graphic organizer that looks like this, because I think it will help make sense of the different types of angles that are formed by lines and segments formed on different parts of the circle. The first, or the second, third, and fourth column shows where the vertex of the angle is. So this is the vertex is on the circle itself, or the vertex is inside the circle, and this one is the vertex outside the circle. In the first column, we will write what are the sides of the angle. In other words, like what types of segments or lines form the sides of the angle. In the past, we've learned about inscribed angles, so maybe we should start by writing that down. So for the first one, we looked at central angles. So let's take a look at central angles first. Sorry, I write sloppy. So for central angles, the two sides are formed by two radii, right? Because the vertex is the center of the circle. So is the vertex found on the circle, inside, or outside? For central angle, the vertex is inside. If it helps, you can also draw here how a central angle looks like. So since a central angle has its vertex at the center, it means it is inside the circle. I'm going to write the relationship here. So we learned previously that a central angle is equal to its intercepted arc. Intercepted arc. Okay, you can write that smaller. I'm using a slate, and that's just how my sloppy handwriting looks like. Okay, another one that we talked about is inscribed angle. So inscribed angle. So how is an inscribed angle differ from a central angle? An inscribed angle is formed by two chords. Since it is formed by two chords, the vertex is not inside, but instead it is on the circle itself. And we learned that an inscribed angle is equal to 1/2 of the arc, 1/2 intercepted arc. There you go. So those are the two types of angles that we learned previously. Write this down because I'm gonna erase it, so I will have more space for the new ones that we're talking about. So the first theorem that we're going to look at under this lesson is called the tangent and inscribed intersected chord theorem. So just like what I mentioned earlier, we're going to look at each theorem according to this lens. So later on, we're going to go back to our graphic organizer and update it with the information that we have. So let's go back to the theorem. It says if a tangent and a chord intersect at a point on a circle, then the measure of each angle formed is 1/2 the measure of its intercepted arc. So this is similar to your inscribed angle theorem. However, it is not formed by two chords. So if you look at the picture, what types of segments or lines form this particular angle? So in this case, we're looking at one chord and a line that is tangent to the circle. And the measure that is being referred to in the theorem is either angle 1, okay, which is formed by chord BA and the tangent line at A, or angle 2, which is formed by chord BA and intercepting the blue arc, which is BCA. So there's a difference between these two angles. On the red one, on the red portion here, the intercepted arc is a minor arc, right? While on the blue portion, the intercepted arc is a major arc. So definitely when you get half of the measures of those two arcs, the values for measure of angle 1 and angle 2 would be different. So what we're going to do now is let's go back to your graphic organizer and record what we learned about this theorem. So we're in number 3 now. So let's look at number 3, which is about the sides of an angle are formed by a tangent and a chord. There you go. The vertex is on the circle. So that means we're going to write here the angle is equal to 1/2 of the arc. So it should stay under this column. So just write it down a little bit smaller because the vertex of the angle is on the circle. Okay, so we're going to go back here, and based on what you learned from this theorem, you are going to answer some exercises here. For now, I'm going to show you some more examples on how to use it for computation. So in this example, line M is tangent to the circle. Find the measure of the red angle or arc. So since this angle is formed by the chord AB and the tangent line M, we're going to use the formula angle is equal to 1/2 of the arc. So the angle that we're looking at here is angle 1. So we do measure of angle 1 is equal to 1/2 of the intercepted arc, which is arc AB, which is a major arc, by the way. So we have measure of angle 1 is equal to 1/2 of 240. So M of angle 1 is 120. Alright, now for angle B, we're looking for the measure of the arc. So if we write down that formula, we get angle is equal to 1/2 of the arc. So the angle we're looking at here is 155. So 1/2 times the measure of the arc, which is the red portion. So we can call that X, or we can put 1/2 times the measure of arc, LJK. So 155 is equal to the measure of that arc. So we have to multiply 2 to this. So we get 310 is equal to the measure of oops, I'm erase that angle sign right there. So 310 is equal to the measure of arc LJK. Alright, so those are some examples. So at this point, go back to Schoology, and we're going to try to answer the tangent chord exercises. You're going to use what you learned from here to answer the example.